Good morning, Bob. How you
Good
doing?
morning, Michael.
Are we rolling?
It's redirecting right now. Just give me 1 second. Let me make sure. Okay. Okay, we are live. We're good.
Okay, we're live. Go ahead, Chair.
Aloha mai kako. Welcome to the August 21st Halawai of the Kaho'olawe Island Reserve Commission. I would like to open our Halawai with a pule na o makua. E hea hea I na kupuna, na alakai, na kana'o au holo o ka lani o luna, o ka honua o lalo, e hoikaika I ka wala au ke kuka o ke iala. Na o makua pa. Na au makua mai ka la hiki a ka la kau mai ka ho'oku'i a ka halawai. Na au makua ia ka hina kua, ia ka hina alo, ia ka akau I ka lani, o ki a I ka lani, o e I ka lani, nunulu I ka lani, kaholo I ka lani. E ia nā pulapula o kou, ke kukulu, ke ea, o kala. E malama o kou ia mākou. E ulu I ka lani, e ulu I ka honua, e ulu I ka pai aino o ka pai. E ho mai ka ike, e ho mai ka ikaika, e ho mai ke aka mai, e ho mai ka maupopo pono, e ho mai ka ike pāpārua, e ho mai ka mana. A mama ua noa. Piha no kako me ke aloha, no ke ia aina, kamaha o ho'i o Kaho'olawe, ko he mālama lama, ola. We start this day already tracking great progress happening on island over the last couple of days. Our staff of our Kaho'olawe Island Reserve, our Protect Kaho'olawe Ohana, just lots of great things happening on island, in the boardrooms, in the all the community spaces, in the classrooms, out in the field, and so. Mahalo for this opportunity for us to gather today and talk story in this very official manner. I hope you are all looking at our meeting agenda that you can find on our website, kaho'olawe.hawaii.gov. Look for agendas, specifically August 21st. And aloha to everybody who is joining us on the Zoom link or the I think on the YouTube live streaming. Aloha kako.
Aloha.
Yay! So we have people in the boardroom at the DLNR office. We have a number of people joining us online. If you are interested in providing the testimony by telephone or by Zoom, the instructions are in the agenda, so you can find it there. So now that we have called our meeting to order, I think we have to call roll call. Yeah.
Chair Piscaya,
Aye. Aloha.
Vice Chair Saito,
Aloha.
Commissioner Chang,
Aye.
Commissioner Chuck is excused. Commissioner Monta.
Chuck is there.
Oh, is he? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So if I'm excused, I can go.
Not
so fast. Not so fast.
You know.
Commissioner Pang
Aye.
and Commissioner Souza is excused.
Hikino. Okay. Also joining us is Executive Director Mike Naho'opi'i.
Aloha.
And a number of our staff will be providing some of the reports listed in the. All right. So our first order of business. Oh,
Help us on.
Kamalu just.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Let
okay.
the record show Commissioner Mata'afa has joined the meeting at 9:06.
my ka'i. So we have a nice representation of our commissioners this morning. Aloha kako. First order of business is the approval of the minutes of February 26th, 2025. I hope everyone had a chance to review. I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
That's a
I'll
motion.
second the motion.
from Saito and a second from Chang. Any discussion, corrections? Seeing no concerns, call for the vote.
Chair Pasaya,
Aye.
Vice Chair Saito,
Aye.
Commissioner Chang,
I,
Commissioner Chalk.
Aye.
Commissioner Mata Alpha,
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Approval of the minutes, Mike Cuddy. All right. Do we have any community or public comments?
Nobody here.
Okay, none online. Okay, moving on. This is agenda item 4, action items. A, we will start with the review and approval of the fiscal year 26 budget.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. The recommended motion for the 26 budget is to approve a $2,771,956 general fund and special fund appropriation budget as detailed, and which will fund KIRC staff positions and program expenses as approved in the state administration's budget, and then also to approve the expenditure of approximately $779,890 from the Kaho'olawe Rehabilitation Trust Fund to fund reimbursable grant projects and operations. So overall, the total budget for FY26 will be about $3.5 million. So if you look at my summary table here, it's about a 56% increase from last year. And the majority of those funds are coming from general fund carryover. So the chart here kind of shows the increases for each type of funding. So just a refresher, we have different sources of funding. We have general funds, which comes from the state administration's budget. We have general fund carryover, which is funds that were encumbered, that were for FY25, and we were able to encumber them into contracts and purchase orders and et cetera that will extend into FY26. We have reimbursable trust funds, which is we will use the trust funds first to pay for a project, and then we will get reimbursed for them. So it's a net zero to us. We have non-reimbursable trust funds, which is just trust funds, and we get nothing back in return. So right now we have none of those. So whatever trust fund we spend, we expect to get reimbursed. And then we have a new category called additional special funds, which is special from other DLNR organizations that have allowed us to use some of their money. So we have about 150,000 in that from the Office of Conservation and Coastal Lands, has allocated about $150,000 for our use. So if we take a look at our next page here, you can see that our general fund allotment from the governor's budget is about $1.8 million. We expect about a 10% restriction. So overall, we probably are going to get about we'll probably have a usable 1.6 million in general funds that we can use for fiscal year 26. The biggest thing that we have was general fund carryover, and these are funds that were available in 25 that we have been able to put into contracts that extend into 26. So we got about $500,000 from state parks vacancy savings. We utilized that money to encumber the base camp contract that starts in 25 and finishes in 26. So we have funding for the whole year of FY26 and additional funding to go past it. We also got another state park savings of, at the very last week of the fiscal year, we got about another 220,000 that also extends the base camp contract an additional 3 months into FY27. And we were also able to use it for miscellaneous purchase. So we were able to replace, I can talk about those when I get into the different program areas. At the very end of the fiscal year, the governor announced that due to the, I guess the restriction on federal funds, or was it the vanquishing of federal funds, or the termination of federal funds? I guess I don't know what the right word is, but he was going to allow people to he was going to release the 10% restrictions that we had on our general fund. So one of our biggest grants that we've been getting for years is from the Institute of Library and Museum Sciences, which has been completely defunded. And it's one of our main federal funding sources. So because of that, we put in a request for the release of a restriction, which offered us another $180,000 in general funds that we could utilize. We utilize that funds to purchase and install a new reverse osmosis plant for base camp. The current one is kind of on its last legs. It was replaced, I think originally installed in 2014, 15, when we did the camp upgrades, and we've been kind of replacing parts. So this allowed us to bring another one in. We'll have 2 plants operating so that we can alternate the use, and then also ease the the maintenance on both of them. And then we were able to purchase a couple of ATVs, one 6-wheeler and one 6-passenger. And then OCCL, Office of Conservation and Coastal Lands, they had funding for coastal restoration projects. So they offered us about $150,000 from their special funds, and we utilized those funds to purchase a large chipper to replace the one that we lost during the fire, and then also for the helicopter transport to get the chipper out to the island. We have the chipper. We're just waiting to schedule the helicopter transport to get the chipper out to the island. We're able to purchase native plants, materials and supplies to do more coastal planting, and then also purchase another 6-wheel ATV and a 6-passenger ATV to replace the aging fleet we have on island. So in total, we got about an additional $1 million that's added to our budget for FY26. Reimbursable trust funds. And then the next table is how we applying those general fund carryover. So in admin and office spaces, we were able to cover half of the electrical and janitorial services for our Wailuku office, and then the entire office lease. Oh, hi, Danica. You have a seat over here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So sorry I'm late. It's so
Yeah.
embarrassing.
We were able to cover the entire office lease for SY26 without touching our general funds, just using carryover. We were able to use the carryover for half of our fuel for 26. We're covering our electricity, water, and fuel for the boat operations for 26. We picked up 2 6-wheelers and 2 6-passenger ATVs. We're also picking up 75% of Honakanaya supplies for 26. We're funding the entire fiscal year 26 and 3 months of FY27 with the carryover. We have reserve ops comms. We have about close to $70,000 in reserve ops we can use, and then we're also funding the transport for the helicopter going out to the island. I mean, the chipper going out to the island. So with those general fund carryover, we were able to take a large chunk of our budget and pay for it without touching our general fund allotment. So what we're planning to do is hang on to those general fund allotments, because at the end of the fiscal year, we can prepay for 27, a lot of 27 stuff with it. So this gives us a buffer that we know at least for 2 years we'll have funding if something happens. So this gives us a moment to push everything forward and to have a buffer for the upcoming years, depending on how federal funding comes and how grant funding is going to be in the next couple of years. For our reimbursable grant funding, we have about $600,000 that we're going to be spending out of the trust fund that will be reimbursed. Residual funding for the IMLS 5 and 6 grants, we have 13,000 probably that just left over. Some computer equipment that still needs to be purchased out of the IMLS 5 grant, and then IMLS 6. We have funding. We're required to attend the ATOM. What's it called? The conference. Yeah, so we're required to do that, and then it covers all our outreach materials, which is our newsletters and annual reports for the upcoming fiscal year. We also have about $181,000 in Maui County Greens grants that we will be using the trust fund to front and then get reimbursed by Maui County. And those include salary and fringe for 6 months for the Ocean Resource Specialist 2 position, vessel operations and plants and supplies. They're funding us for coastal restoration projects and things related to coastal stability projects. And then we're also looking at spending about $500,000 for the boathouse expansion project. NOAA has granted us $1 million to expand the boathouse, to put in a comfort station, and then also a pavilion at the boathouse. The first phase of it would be to do the construction designs and planning. So that's what this $500,000 will be for. It's all reimbursable through our NOAA grant. So the net impact to our budget is 0 for all this. Distribution of the budget. Some of the things that will be spent, we're looking to spend in the different programs. The commission budget, it has general funds to support our commission coordinator position, and then travel for 4 hybrid commission meetings for 26. The admin budget, it provides general funds for our admin and executive staff. So myself, admin officer, admin specialist 3, public information specialist, and our GIS land specialist. Includes office expenses, which includes the lease, storage, computer equipment, travel, etc. Outreach materials for 3 newsletters and annual report. Residual funds for IMLS 5 and 6. And then in a reserve ops, we're looking at general funds for our personnel in reserve ops, which is our reserve ops manager, our vessel operator, our logistics specialist, and our volunteer coordinator. General and reimbursable trust funds for Maui vehicles, the Kihei Boathouse. We're also setting aside funds, general funds. I'll get to it when we get to the bottom. General funds, including carryover for base camp operations, material supplies, on-island vehicles, heavy equipment repair, fuel, and electrical systems on island. General fund carryover to cover FY26 and the first quarter of FY27 of base camp management contract. Additional general funds budgeted to extend base camp management contracts through 27 upon renewal. So that's what the regular general funds will be used. And then general fund carryover to cover FY26 of the communications contract. So we have full funding for the year, and then additional general funds to apply to 27 once we get to the end of the fiscal year. We also set aside about $30,000 from general funds to purchase a replacement passenger van, because I know our vans are getting kind of beat up already. So normally we buy from surplus, so I'll make a trip down to surplus and see what they got available, and we'll see if we can get a van for $30,000 nowadays. And then also in that program area, we're looking at about setting aside $500,000 to refunded by NOAA for a professional services contract to begin the design and planning for the boathouse expansion project. Restoration program, we're looking at funding the staff there, which is our NRS 4 and 2, Natural Resource Specialist 3, and then reimbursable funding for a temporary Natural Resource Specialist 2, which is going to be funded out of the Department of Health grant, and then also funds to start the grant off, which includes materials and supplies. That project will start planting in the backside of Lomakika in the Kamohio area, going down the K2 road. That's the target in that grant. The ocean program budget includes general funds for their staff, which is 1 ocean specialist 3 and 1 ocean specialist 2. Reimbursable trust funds for a temporary ocean specialist 2 position covered by Maui County Greens grants to end at the end of calendar year 25. It also provides transportation and funds for the grant program. And then we also have funds for the permanent cultural resource project coordinator position once we get that person fully on staff. Impact for the trust fund, since there are no non-reimbursable trust funds are expected to be used, that should be a typo. That should be no non-reimbursable trust funds are to be expected to be used in 26. There's no impact expected. More detailed breakdowns is in the spreadsheets attached. But if there's any general questions, I can answer at this time.
I have one question.
Yeah.
The donations that you accept through the website and like, where is that? Is that under in general funds?
No, so the website stuff goes into the trust fund and it
Okay.
helps us with the way we look at the trust fund is it's our bank account to allows us to start grant projects off, and which is an advantage over other organizations who have to work up some kind of deal where they have to come up with the front money for
Right.
most of the projects, right?
Advance, yeah.
Yeah, so this is what our trust funds are being used for. So it helps restore
So
that.
donations go into the trust fund.
Goes into the trust fund,
Okay.
yeah.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Any other questions?
Mr. Mata.
Yes.
Dr. Alpha.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for that presentation. It was really well put together. I have a simple question. Can you just confirm that there are no non-reimbursable trust funds? Because I think the way I read your budget is how you budgeted are for the expenses that you're using. But if you could just confirm that there's nothing relating to the non-reimbursable trust funds in there.
Yes, true. Yeah. There's a typo in the impact to trust fund. It should be since no non-reimbursable trust funds, yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
at any trust fund we spend in FY 26, we should be getting paid back. So it should be a net zero to us.
And I'll note on the table on page 1, you show 0 in the category of non-reimbursable
Yep,
trust funds
yep.
for 26 and 25.
Anything else? Yeah. Chair, you'd like to call for a motion?
Yeah, I'm letting it sink in and just
Okay.
face
Oh,
it.
okay. Yeah, it's a lot of numbers. So the big overall, okay, let me summarize in the big overall level. We're lucky. We got a lot of support because we had planned for, at the end of the year, if anybody has extra money, we're available to take it and we're standing by. So because of that, we got almost half of our budget for the next year from other people's leftovers. And which means that we could use half of our budget to push off to 27 by starting it in 26. So it gives us a cushion on what's happening next year with funding and how funding goes next year. So it gives us a little breather room that we haven't had in a while.
Oh, so Chair, if I may, I also see Commissioner Mata'ala's hand up, but I did want to say, deal in our other divisions at the end of the year where we have vacancy fundings available, we do make it available, and normally we haven't made those available to KIRC.
Mhm.
But because we did have a surplus of funds and I did open it up to all of the divisions, they got over $1 million from our divisions, and so, as Michael said, and Michael is your real strongest advocate. He sits at our weekly administrators meeting and he is made aware when these funds are available. So he did put in his requests. We looked at all of the requests and felt that KIRC's requests are very reasonable. So it may not always happen like that. Our divisions don't always have that kind of funds available. But I'm also of the view we're not returning any money to general funds. So, so either we use it, and so again, appreciated that, KIRC did submit some proposals for use of those funds and they were available. It may not always happen, but thank you.
Yes, Mike Hutty, great advocacy. And I'm really happy that the money has to stay in the same, to support the same kind of work.
Yeah.
So for those who are following along, if you look in our online on our agenda, there's hyperlinks to these things that we're talking about. They're in blue, so if you click on them, you can see the minutes. Right now, we are down on, oh, wait,
4A.
4A.
4A, wait. How did I get the oh, yeah. Oh, I've been click on them. Okay, yeah, so that little bit that says fiscal year FY26 budget, and then we went through the narrative, and then those charts on the bottom should matchy the words and the numbers in all those Excel spreadsheets. So I know it's a lot. And I'm gonna just do one more look around to my commissioners if you have any more questions.
I think,
Yes.
Samalu, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. So this is good. I like what's happening here with the budget for FY 2026. Do you have any inkling of what our budget may look like in 2027 as it relates to the reimbursable trust funds? Do you anticipate us receiving more or less in FY 27?
I think-
Or in addition to what we have posted in our FY 2026 reimbursable trust fund section?
Yeah, so we still have more funding from the NOAA grant, so that will be for 27. We have another $500,000 in 27. We just got awarded another, is it called Greens Grant? No, what is it called now?
Sustainability program.
Sustainability program from Maui County. So it's like 130,000. And then we just met with council member Gabe Johnson, who wants to start a new funding project connecting the rain bridge between Kaho'olawe by replanting Ulupalakua and Kaho'olawe. So he asked us to submit some proposals and ideas. So that Maui County may be one of our biggest grant funder in 27. So thank you very much, Commissioner, for your county's strong support of us. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
And we told him to come talk to you too, because you've been on the commission for such a while that if he has any other questions, he can come see you guys here. Yeah.
Oh, you make me sound old. Thank you
Old
for that
timer,
explanation.
not old timer,
Timer.
seasoned.
Yeah.
Are we feeling confident? I mean, I know that a lot of the funding landscape has changed, and some of our we've been getting grant support from a few consistent sources, and is, I guess, maybe just how you feel, how confident you feel about supporting the ongoing work, because we've built up all of these really great initiatives and they're moving, and then now it's with the things are changing. Is there concern where we should start considering like reserving or setting funding aside and being conservative in certain areas to make sure we can continue to support the initiatives we have underway?
Well, we were actually lucky at the start of this new administration because we don't rely on direct federal funds very much. Most of our federal funding comes from competitive grant applications, and it's never been, so the whole idea of our structure of our budget is that the general funds, the state funding, provides for our staff, and it provides for the core infrastructure of Kaho'olawe. So hopefully those levels will stay with the state budget. We look at federal like grants, either county or federal or other people, to fund the projects, buy plants, buy materials, things that supports my staff and the volunteers doing things on the island. So we were kind of good when we started this, that we don't have direct line items like a lot of the other divisions. They have permanent funding sources, like maybe a half or quarter of there is directly federal funded, and those are gone. So we're not aligned in that fashion. So our monetary system we have is a lot better than I think in a lot of other agencies around the way we did it. And we're so used to being broke all these years that we know how to squeeze a dime, we have
Yeah,
to.
yeah. I was just thinking about our public because the forward facing bits that they get to see are our outreach and education projects.
Yeah.
Our restoration work that they often funded by those kinds of monies. So yeah, I was just highlighting like that forward facing, not so much the ops support, but the engagement.
Yeah. But with the projects coming up, we have a lot of people supporting us that we have funding standing out to 27 for restoration efforts. Yeah, restoration projects.
Okay, my ka'i. Just
I
putting
have-
people's minds and concerns at ease.
Yeah.
Mata
So
Alpha,
makes
is
me
your
think
hand
of something.
still up or is this new up?
Yeah.
I have a new question. Executive Director, I was looking through the budget, and you could direct me, I probably missed it, in looking through it, but donations and collection of fees, do we have that anywhere in the budget?
No, it's not in the budget. We try not to depend on those donations as part of our budgeting process. We just use those funds to increase the trust fund account. So we try to base our budget upon what we have in hand. So all the funding that's in this budget is what we have in hand, not depending upon what we expect to collect from fundraising and any of those activities. So that makes our budget a lot less risky by not having to depend on any fundraising or any those type of activities to achieve this budget. Yeah, these are all dollars we know we have right now. And we actually have a couple more grants that we just got notified of. So those are going to come in a budget amendment coming up probably November-ish timeframe before the end of the year.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
I think moving forward in your sources of funding for the fiscal year, even though we don't depend on those donations or fees as heavily as we do on the other sources, it might be good just to still add it under in your sources of funding as a separate line, just so we could see if what's been collected and if it's being used at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions or discussion?
Yes, I had one. Thanks, Chair. You're talking and it made me think of, federal funds. So 2 federal fund sources were highlighted. One we lost, IMLS, and 2 that we're still banking on, which is NOAA for the boathouse. So my question maybe for the Executive Director would be, how confident are you that we are still going to have those NOAA funds, since they are pretty critically important for the Kihei boathouse?
So for the NOAA funds, what our plan is, we'll execute a professional services contract to do design and planning. We'll execute maybe a small task, 5,000, something like that. Get that executed. The contractor will bill us. We'll apply for reimbursement through NOAA. If the reimbursement goes through, then we're pretty confident that the rest of the funding, because the funding, talking to NOAA, I've had quite a few meetings with them. They're still not 100% sure if the money is coming, but the money that has been set aside from the prior year, it's in their account. They just have to make sure that is it the DC side or whatever side processes the payments. So that's why we're gonna start with a small contract. We'll start with a small portion of the contract because this is reimbursable. We will use trust funds to pay the small portion of it and then see if we get reimbursed. And then we just keep it on that track as we go. Yeah. And if they stop paying us, then we stop the contract.
Okay.
Then no one knows that. We spoke many times that if we don't get reimbursed funding, then basically both parties of the grant have voided the contract that we have or the agreement that we have together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? Yeah. All right, I will call for a vote.
Chair, I move that we accept the budget as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Chang,
Second, Chair Pang.
second by Pang. Okay, any further questions? Last call. Okay, call for the vote.
Chair Piscaya,
Aye.
Vice Chair Saito,
Aye.
Commissioner Chang,
Aye.
Commissioner Chalk,
Aye.
Commissioner Mataafa,
Aye.
Commissioner Pang.
Aye.
Unanimously, motion carried. Thank you, Executive Director. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Are you carrying on to the next agenda item?
Okay, Chair, if I could just take a few seconds so I can introduce our new Deputy Attorney General, Danica. You can introduce yourself, Danica, to the commission.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Danica Swenson. I'm your new Deputy Attorney General. So I advise on sunshine law issues and other legal issues that the commission might have. I am really excited to be advising you guys. I'm from Kailua, Oahu, and now Judge Somerville, Rowena Somerville, she was someone who encouraged me to apply for the role I'm in, and she was
AG
advising
or for Kirk?
for AG,
Yeah.
but part of what inspired me was her work on KIRC and in her office where her chambers
Yeah, yeah.
at court, she has a huge map of Kaho'olawe. And so I would always be asking her questions like, what's over there? And yeah, so she's regaled me with her stories of her time advising you guys. So I'm excited for the challenge and looking forward to get to know you guys. And I'm always down for a site visit and getting dirty, pulling
Oh, good.
invasive
Okay. Yeah.
species and throwing away trash. So
It's on the record.
I'm
Okay,
ready.
it's on the record.
Yeah.
Mike Cutty. Welcome, Court Counsel, Danica. We're a
Thank
fun
you.
bunch out here. Mike
Okay, moving on to 4B.
Cutty.
What is the actual title for this one? This is legislative review and approve legislative positions for FY26. Okay, so I have I think I just put 3 positions right now within the legislative positions. We already got instructions from the governor's office on what we can and cannot do for the administration's budget, but these are overall ask. So the very first one is request CIP funding match the NOAA grant for the KIRC boathouse. So our first estimate of the entire project, which is the boathouse expansion, which the boathouse expansion, the cover station, and the pavilion is initially 1.5 to 1.75 million. And the money that NOAA's giving us is only 1. So we're going to see how much we can get built, see where we can find extra funding, but meeting with NOAA and their staff, they're also going to try to see if they can use their influence to see if we can get them to get a state match to the 1 million that they gave us, the federal match. So that's what this request is. So that's number 1. With the additional 1 million, we should definitely be able to finish the project. The second request is request CIP funding for phase 2 of the Kihei facilities, which is for now, I'm using the term Restoration and Resiliency Center. What we call it the Education Operations Center. We have various names, but we're looking at about a little bit over $4 million to do phase 2, which is the design and planning, finish the design and planning of construction, start the management process, and then about $1 million for the boathouse expansion. So this is the backup of the boathouse expansion is in this request. If we don't, we've applied for this many years, but if it doesn't work through the admin budget, we'll go see legislators and see if they can introduce it. We are on Senator McKelvey's infrastructure priority list. So we're going to be seeking some legislative help to introduce some funding bills for us. And number 3 is to get one new position, which is currently the Ocean Resource Specialist 2 position is being funded by grants, and we've been having her funded for all these years, for a couple years through grants, is to try to get her into the admin budget as part of our general funds positioning. So we kept it kind of simple. 2 CIP requests, and then try to convert one of our grant funded position into a general funded position. Any questions? Yeah.
Commissioner Saito.
Yeah, aloha, Mike. I just had a question on, I know, I see all of this boathouse. If I recall, I think you put something in for the boat. Are we currently good with the boat? Or it's just
I will approach, well, I mean, the boat's running fine. I mean, it's working, but I did write a proposal for a new boat, and I have an estimated cost. It's about $1 million to replace the boat. I do have a proposal. I have it in my pocket. So if Senator Inouye wants to introduce it, I have it available. So I'm planning to go see her sometime soon. And she offered, I only have that available because she offered to get me a new boat. So I have it available if she decides to introduce it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to take this to her. Plus I'll have that other one too, the boat replacement. So if you want to add in that, we can add in replacement of the boat, but I don't want the replacement of the boat to take away any of the like if there's only so many silver bullets they're going to give us. I'd rather have that on the back side than on and get Kihei continuation on Kihei development first, than say, oh, I got you a new boat. So
Thank you, Mike. That was the clarification.
yeah, but I have it available. If somebody says, do you want a new boat? I have something written. Yeah.
That's good. Mahalo, Mike. Appreciate it.
Okay, so we're very clear that these 3 initiatives are of the highest priority for you.
Yeah.
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 If we are in support of this 26 budget request, I will entertain motion.
Oh, can I ask one question? Is there anything else you would like me to be aware, like, take to the ledge? I mean, because these are the ones from staff. Is there anything the commissioners would like to take to the ledge? Because I know there's discussion about Rezo for 26. So I can also, if you guys want to add that in, we could add that in too.
Yeah, we weren't sure. This particularly says budget request, and then there were other things that were initiatives from last legislative session that were rolling support for and advocacy. What money's not really attached to some of those.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we wanted to just keep this agenda item clean with funding requests. Okay.
I will move to approve the legislative positions for 2026 session.
I'll second.
So motion by Saito, second by Commissioner Chang. Any discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote.
Chair Pascaya,
Aye.
Vice Chair Saito,
Aye.
Commissioner Chang,
Aye.
Commissioner Top,
Aye.
Commissioner Mata'afa,
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Mai ka'i apono ia ke ia a ho'oko ia. Motion carried, and this is approved. Moving on, next agenda item.
Okay, our next agenda item is we have 2 resolutions that we would like to request the commission's approval. The first one is for Commissioner Anela Evans, whose term of office expired on June 30th, 2025. So let me read it. Whereas the term of Nell Evans as commissioner and as representative of Protect Kaho'olawe Ohana on the Kaho'olawe Island Reserve Commission will come to the end on June 30, 2025, after 4 noteworthy years. And whereas Commissioner Evans graduated from Kamehameha Schools, Kapalama, and received her undergraduate degree in Hawaiian Studies and a master's in Hawaiian Studies, concentrating in Malama Aina and Mo'olelo Aina from the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Whereas Commissioner Evans is currently an Ike Hawaii faculty member at Punahou Schools, and previously was the Lanai Resort Cultural Practitioner and Historian at the Four Seasons Resort Lanai, and still is a hula practitioner with Kapahula o Kaunoe o Va'ahila under the direction of Kumuhula Malia Lobenstein Carter. And whereas Commissioner Evans' relationship with Kaho'olawe began 20 years ago as a student at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and has been both an active volunteer for the KIRC and PKO, which eventually led to her working for the KIRC as the KIRC volunteer coordinator, and with the PKO as a KUA, PKO access coordinator and KIRC certified access guide, with Kuleana to guide safe and meaningful access to Kaho'olawe. And whereas Commissioner Evans was first appointed to the KIRC on February 22, 2021, by the Honorable David Ige, Governor of the State of Hawaii, to serve for a term expiring on June 30, 2024, and serve an additional year as a holdover until her replacement was appointed. And whereas, while serving as a KIRC commissioner, Commissioner Evans' background in Hawaiian cultural practices and her work with both the KIRC and PKO was instrumental in coordinating the continuing working relationship between the two organizations, especially with the joint Alaloa project, a Circle Island trail around the perimeter of Kaho'olawe. And whereas while serving as the KIRC commissioner, Commissioner Evans was vital in the review, amendment, and approval of the latest stewardship agreement, or Palapala Ailike Kauaina, between KIRC and the Protect Kaho'olawe Fund, that extended the working agreement between the two organizations to 2030. And whereas Commissioner Evans has served faithfully for 4 years as a commissioner with passion and commitment, and whereas with the completion of Commissioner Evans' term of service, the KIRC will lose a visionary commissioner and Hawaiian culture practitioner with deep knowledge and expertise. And whereas though Commissioner Evans will leave her seat on the KIRC, it is clear that her work on Kaho'olawe is not over, and that she will continue as an advisor and supporter of the rebirth, healing, and restoration of Kaho'olawe for years to come. Now, therefore, on this day, the 21st day of August in the year of 2025, on the island of Oahu, be resolved that by the KIRC that a significant record of achievement has been accomplished by Anela Evans in the area of leadership, Hawaiian cultural practices, and community engagement for the Kaho'olawe Island Reserve, all in the spirit of healing Kaho'olawe. And be it further resolved that through the leadership of Anela Evans, Kaho'olawe will be restored as a rich cultural and environmental resource for Hawaii's people. And through her action and support, Kaho'olawe has become a model of Native Hawaiian stewardship and management. And further be resolved that Anela Islands has served the KIRC with dignity and dedication. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be transmitted to Hawaii's congressional delegation, the governor of the state of Hawaii to protect Kaho'olawe Ohana, the mayor of Kaunai Maui, and the chairperson and trustees of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs.
Nani.
Yeah, beautiful.
And Nani.
Oh, this Dan's one.
It's on the next section.
Yeah, you put, yeah. You guys want to do both at one time or one at a time?
We can do both.
Okay.
From the back, but it's smaller pipe.
Oh, is it hand inserted? It's not in my packet.
It's not.
No, oh, here, I think this is, yeah. You know why? Because I took my packet early. Okay, this is for our Deputy Attorney General, Dan Morris, who just retired at the end of July.
Yes.
Yes, end of July, yeah. Okay, so Dan has been with us a long time, and I guess for a lot of the Ohana members who work with Dan, Dan has put up with a lot of us. A lot of things. Okay, whereas the Kaho'olawe Island, and it was hard to find information about Dan, so he doesn't have a LinkedIn profile, he doesn't have a Facebook page, he doesn't have a lot of things. The Kaho'olawe Island Reserve Commission's assigned Deputy Attorney General Dan Morris has retired on July 31st, 2025, after 12 noteworthy years working with the KIRC. And whereas Mr. Morris is a graduate of Punahou Schools and received his undergraduate degree in English literature from the University of Michigan, and his Juris Doctor degree from the University of Hawaii at Manoa Richardson School of Law. And whereas Mr. Morris was admitted to the Hawaii State Bar Association in 1988 and first began his law practice at the firm Cade, Schultz, Fleming, and Wright, then served on the State of Hawaii Department of Attorney General, and whereas Mr. Morris then left the Attorney General's office for the law firm of Bickerton, Lee, Dang, and Sullivan, but returned to the AG Land Division. And whereas Mr. Morris volunteered / assigned to represent the Kaho'olawe Island Reserve Commission, because he was also arm twisted by Judge Rowena Somerville, upon the departure of KIRC's previous Deputy Attorney General Rowena Somerville. And whereas Mr. Morris began his work for the KIRC by working with KIRC staff and representatives of the Protect Kaho'olawe Ohana in restructuring and providing clarifying language regarding the status and determination of KIRC volunteers and the State of Hawaii Attorney General's responsibility for representation to improve the stewardship agreement or Palapala Ailike Kahu'aina between the KIRC and PKO. And whereas Mr. Morris, in addition to guiding both the KIRC and PKO to two more revisions of the stewardship agreement, also provided astute and swift legal review of KIRC contracts and legal documents and provided insightful advice while participating in KIRC public hearings. And whereas Mr. Morris has served faithfully for over 12 years as KIRC's Deputy Attorney General with passion, commitment, and whereas the retirement of Deputy Attorney General Daniel Morris, the KIRC will lose a committed public servant that has helped guide the KIRC with dedication and support. And whereas through Mr. Morris will be leaving his mission with the State of Hawaii government, it is clear that his work on Kaho'olawe is not over, and he will continue as an advisor and supporter of the rebirth, healing, and restoration of Kaho'olawe for years to come. Now, therefore, on this day, the 21st day of August, on the year of 2025, on the island of Oahu, will be resolved by the KIRC that a significant record of achievement has been accomplished by Daniel A. Morris in the area of leadership, legal advice, and community engagement for Kaho'olawe Island Reserve, all in the spirit of healing Kaho'olawe, and be further resolved that through the dedication of Daniel Morris, Kaho'olawe will be restored to a rich cultural and environmental resource for Hawaii people, and through his action and sound advice, Kaho'olawe will become a model for Native Hawaiian stewardship and management, and be further resolved that Daniel Morris has served the KIRC with dignity and dedication, and be further resolved that copies of this resolution be transmitted to Hawaii Congressional Delegation, the Governor and Attorney General of the State of Hawaii, the Protect Kaho'olawe Ohana, the Mayor of County of Maui, and the Chairperson and Trustees of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Okay, those are the two.
And mahalo piha, on behalf of the people of Hawaii, this commission, our staff, the service of Commissioner Evans, and of our council. Dan, the commitment to this work, it is grueling at times, it is challenging, there's so many things that we have to uncover, discover, figure out, work our way through, and it is their diligent commitment to seeing the vitality of Kaho'olawe come forward. Their service might be invisible to most people, but it certainly is evident in the progress that we are able to make as a commission and as stewards of Kaho'olawe. I seek for support in joining me, the rest of the commissioners, if we can call for a vote to approve this expression of appreciation for their service.
The new guy has some manao to add, if I may. You don't really know Mr. Morris, but like I'm hearing the description of him and comparing it to like Nella Evans. What I hear is common is dedication and commitment, something that what common law is. And so I want to move to adopt the resolution for Nella Evans and Mr. Dan Morris in recognition of her contributions toward healing of common law.
Very nice.
We have a motion from Commissioner Chuck. Second.
I'll second, Chair.
Mahalo. Second for Commissioner Chang. Any further discussion? Yeah. Okay, we'll call for the vote.
Chair Piscaya,
Aye.
Vice Chair Saito,
Aye.
Commissioner Chang,
Aye.
Commissioner Chalk,
Aye.
Commissioner Mata'afa,
Aye.
Commissioner Pang.
Aye. All right.
I have the resos here, so I'm gonna ask the commissioners here to sign it as soon as we're done today. And then Oahu guys, I'll come meet up with you guys, try to track you down to get signatures. And then we'll take it to Maui, and then we'll send it to you, Chair, last to get the final signature. We'll make copies and make distributions afterwards.
Kiki, no.
Yeah.
So I hope they know this is like Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. And I look forward to inviting them back to
Hotel
Kaho'olawe
Kanaloa.
to continue to serve and continue their mission of Aloha Aina. Mahalo, Anela. Mahalo, Dan. Okay, next on our agenda.
Okay, next item is executive we're in the
Report.
what is this section called again? Admin business. Okay. We did all the action items. Admin business executive director report. First part in the executive report is the 25 end of year budget report. Attached, you will see our expenditure report. It is after the ED report. A couple of the variances that you'll see. The OSHA program non-personnel expenditures exceeded the budget amount. That's because we don't have in the budget the Greens Grant additional funding that was given to us at the end of towards the end of the year. So we're slightly, we haven't compensated for that. The restoration program non-personnel expenditures are significantly less than the budget amount. Is because the Department of Health Clean Water Grant was not awarded or implemented during 25. So we didn't spend any of those funds. And then general fund carryover for 25 indicates a balance of 65,000. This amount has been spent and will be reflected when FY25 is completely closed out and all end of year transactions have been updated in about a month or two. So we'll have a final FY25 closeout expenditure report once fiscal has done their end of year closeout, and we know where all the transactions have gone to. Right now, there's stuff holding in accounts payable that still needs to be accounted for. Long range schedule should be also attached. Couple things coming up. Is the long range schedule in here? Did you put long range schedule? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It wasn't in mine. Well, right now we're programmed out towards the spring, looking to fill April, May, and June towards the summer dates. Couple things we've added to our schedule is upcoming is rain ceremony in October. October is a busy month for us because we're covering the intercession break. So we have accesses relating to mostly school groups. So we have Kamehameha Schools Maui and then UH West Oahu will be coming during the intercession break. And then after that, we have rain ceremony going on the weekend, and then following up with Baldwin High School Ag Program. November, we're taking a month off from on-island activities, but Makahiki, opening Makahiki will be held during the Thanksgiving weekend. And then in December, we have a couple more access and going back into January. But in December, we're also looking at the MUA completion, probably the week before Christmas. So we are working with the Kaho'olawe Ohana to organize a weekend trip to Panida MUA and have ceremonies to close that project out and be done with it finally. We're looking at, we have scheduled all the way through spring break of next year. So we're waiting for dates from the Ohana on calendar year 26 so we can incorporate those. So we will present those in the next commission meeting for approval. And then we are looking at scheduling towards the later spring and summer already for next year. Any questions on scheduling? No, looking good. Okay, admin, staffing, and personnel. So commissioner status. Commissioners Chalk and Pang have just taken their oath of office and now are fully on board as KIRC commissioners. I was trying to figure out how to do a digital lay for Commissioner Chalk since he's not here in person, but so next time I see you, so I'll bring you in. Commissioner Pescai's current term expired on June 30, but you have 1 year as a holdover available on the commission, and until the next ledge session. I've already begun discussions with the PKO representatives and their leadership of working for a reappointment. So that is our goal, is to, if the chair is still applicable to continuing on, that we'll be looking at getting a reappointment and confirmation hearing again come next ledge session in 26. New hires, we have hired our cultural resource project coordinator. Our chair was on the review panel. We hired Leo Kaho'olawe Brown as the cultural resource project coordinator. Lei is a trained archaeologist with a master's degree in heritage management and a bachelor's in anthropology from UH-Hilo. She was the lead archaeologist at Kaho'olawe National Park, where she managed their cultural resource management program, conducted archaeological surveys, and managed their NHPA and NEPA compliance. So she is very familiar in the federal guidelines and requirements for archaeological services and archaeological surveys. She's also a Lapa, Halau Okekui, and is a Kamehameha School graduate. So since I'm looking up there on this board, I was like, there's at least 4 of us. 5 up there here. Matt, do you know when we have any update on when her official start is? We've been talking to her, she's been participating with us, but we have to get her official start date. Yeah.
No official start date yet, but I would imagine the next few weeks we'll get that.
Okay. We do have a vacancy in our logistics specialist position. Our previous log specialist, Clay Guth, has resigned. We are currently looking for qualified candidates to fill the position. Yeah. Update on base camp improvement projects. Currently, Dawson has 4 tasks under their CIP funding. This is a CIP money we got, probably a few years back. Task 1 is roof repairs and elastomer coating. Materials have been shipped to base camp and work started in February 2025 access. This project was completed in April. Replace the portable water distribution system. Half of the materials are on island and the other half will be shipped to the boathouse by the end of August. This task is currently scheduled after all the other tasks are completed because we have to put down the water system. This is the potable water distribution system in base camp. We have to secure all potable water on the base camp and then replace all the piping. Install economic AC units. The materials have been sourced and are on order. Dawson HIVAC technicians are planning to install the unit beginning the September 25 access. Building painting. A color has been selected to repaint the exterior of the buildings based on the contractor's recommendation and staff input. Bear brand Harvest Brown was selected. Work is scheduled for the October accesses, and Dawson has prepared an electrical study of the base camp distribution system and is currently preparing an estimate to utilize the remaining of the CIP funds for a system-wide electrical upgrade. So we will be getting that on scope. Update on the Kihei Boathouse expansion. This is the one we've been talking about. NOAA awarded the KIRC a $1 million 2-year grant for the Kihei Boat Expansion Project. The project consists of expanding both sides of the Kihei Boathouse to provide 2 covered boat parkings area with additional enclosed workshop and storage space. One side will be for Ohua. The other side will be for the NOAA vessel. And then outboard of those covered, attached covered roofs will be 20 foot by 8, which is about the size of a Connex office and storage containers. So instead of building them, will probably be purchased and installed in place, office and storage container facilities. So that'll increase the space and usability of the boathouse. Also to construct a comfort station, which is a restroom, and then pavilion attached to the restroom that can be used for KIRC volunteers, for Ohana staging facilities, and for other use relating to Kihei facilities. The funding was transferred to the KIRC through an amendment to the existing DLNR MOA, Memorandum Agreement. KIRC staff are currently working with the NOAA staff to determine the means of accessing these funds with the least risks to the KIRC Trust Fund regarding the current limitations on federal reimbursement. Once complete, the KIRC will allow NOAA long-term use of one of the boathouse extensions for their vessel. An initial professional service contract was awarded last fiscal year to determine conceptual renderings for the project, and we'll have that updated when we do a full update on the project. The rough estimate for all three items, boathouse expansion, pavilion, conversation, exceeds the funding provided by NOAA. During the next phase, KIRC staff will be working to further refine the initial cost estimate by determining what planning work can be accomplished by the new KIRC staff archaeologists, and to research construction estimates once the construction drawings are developed. So our rough idea is that it exceeds NOAA's money, but that is a large chunk of it is for the planning and SMA permit process, which we've already sort of done for the entire property. But because when we did our EA, it was under the old archaeological requirements of, we didn't have to do a cultural landscape. So the cost of it drove the price up. But since now we have a fully trained archaeologist on board, and we can probably do the NEPA requirements in-house, which we're hoping to do, we might be able to bring down that price for development, for the planning purposes. So, and then we're also, so that may bring it down. But then on the other side of it, with construction projects going on Kihei, going on Maui, and the access to construction materials and construction crews and workers, we don't know if that pricing is going to go up. So we'll have to see once we get construction estimates based upon the designs. Hopefully, if we can land within the million, we'll be good, but most likely the odds are going to be slightly higher. So that's why we're looking for matching. And another place we're also looking for matching is maybe either through the state's budget, but also through the county's budget, or any other funder who would look to help match us. So we're just going to go through our list of possible sources of funding and see where it comes up. And that's pretty much for my ED report. Oh, attached here is also a resolution that passed the legislature, that came out of the 25 legislature. It's a Senate resolution. You can read it, but basically it directs boating and the KIRC to work together. So, which we do. But I talked to it was introduced by Senator McKelvey, and he said he just wanted to make sure that when we do development and we start building out the Kihei area, that boating is there to support us on our projects that we're doing out there. Since boating owns the property next door and they own the ramp, which we use, to always make sure that KIRC is considered or consulted when there's any changes to the Kihei Small Boat Harbor, because it impacts our operation in a very significant way. So basically that's what this reso is, to make sure that we work together, that we don't kind of do anything that interferes with each other's use of the facilities. Yeah. And that's it for the ED report. Any questions? Yep. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to our project updates. We'll start with administration projects. First one is IMLS 4. That project was a pilot digital project to create several digital and virtual reality tools that can be providing safe, meaningful access to Kaho'olawe, including live streaming video from Kaho'olawe and roughly 360 video access updates. This is the last update. We keep providing updates for grant projects until we have received all the money. So we have received all the funding. We fully received all the reimbursements. So this will come off of our list. So you won't be seeing this anymore. IMLS 5. That was to increase our organizational capacity of the KIRC through technological enhancements. KIRC currently hardline servers and technical hardware on to a cloud-based system that will allow staff to have both in-office and remote access. So that was the funding. There's about $2,000 remaining, so that should be spent soon. And we've already received all the funding because this is one of those grants where they give us the money ahead of time. So this will be coming off of our reporting system. We can pretty much close this one out. Then we have, let's see. Oh, then we have, let's see, where are we? Ocean. Is the next one Ocean? Oh, restoration. Okay, restoration programs. NACA, which is the North American Wetland Conservation Act. Conservation Act, yeah. This is through U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services and Ducks Unlimited funders. This project was to enhance temporary wetland sites at Kaho'olawe and Kaho'olawe through the removal of invasive plants, and outplanting of natives. We did this in partnership with Maui Nui Seabird Recovery Project, the Ohana Educational Committee, and community volunteers. This project ended, period of performance ended in June, through the removal of invasive species. Okay, and then, so we have received all the funding, and this should be our last report on this grant. The project update for this was all invasive species removal continued at Kaho'olawe and Kaho'olawe. We remain clumps of Cetracilius were dug up. You know that?
St. Chrysaliaris,
That's cressa? No, what is that?
buffalo grass,
What's that?
buffalo grass.
Oh, buffalo grass. Okay, buffalo grass. Yeah, buffalo grass. And xanthium was also removed from Kaho'olawe. Volunteers collected an additional 5 pounds of ma'o, and to date, we've had 6,500 plants have been planted at Kaho'olawe and Kaho'olawe, 4,500 plants at Kaho'olawe and Luamokika, and 2,000 at Kaho'olawe. Survival rates are very low at both sites due to limited rainfall from October to January. Survival and establishment rates should increase with the heavy rains in late January. So we'll see how things go once we get past this next 6 months or so out there. Update on Palopalo Kanaloa. We have a working group that is between U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, DLNR DOFA, National Tropic Botanical Garden, Olinda Rare Plant Facility, Kaho'olawe Farm, the Plant Extinction Program, Lion Arboretums, Micro Propagation Lab, McKenna Golf and Beach Club, and the PKO. Highlights: 15 plants are in propagation and are distributed, with 3 at Kaho'olawe Farms in Haiku, 9 at the Olinda Rare Plant Facility in Olinda, and 3 at Kahanu Gardens, Hana. The working group recently met in May. All 3 plants at Kahanu Gardens, NTBG, has been planted into 4x4 foot planter boxes. The last seed collected in 2008 from Ale is thriving as a seedling at Olinda. Work continues at Kaho'olawe Farm to prepare a larger planter for the oldest plants, and pollen studies were conducted at Lion Arboretum Micropropagation Lab. Information collected will help guide pollen storage and distribution between the cultivars, because now the idea is that we started with such small population is trying to find genetic diversity between these different populations and making sure that we get stronger cultivars. DOFA introduced a new software mapping tool to the group that uses climate and geotopical data from historical locations that can help define favorable conditions for eventual outplanting. So trying to find areas that eventually, the goal is, I think was 50 in cultivation, 50 out planting as the first initial target. We do have a website that has been launched and can be accessed at kapalapalo'okanaloa.org/thehui. So you can see status and photos and information about Palopalo Kanaloa. And because of that, I'm wearing my Palopalo Kanaloa Hawaiian floss print. So, okay, and then we have the photos here of the redwood boxes at Kahanu Gardens. So, and the plants that are growing there. So we have our CWC, which is the Coastal Wetland Conservation Grant Project being run by Ocean Program. This is also the last report. We had an extension that will finish in December of 25. Some of the highlights were it funded our NRS2 position. We plant 20,000 plants, remove invasive species, excavate silt ponds that are along the road. We've completed 12 of the 12 monitoring investigation observations that were conducted. We did 24 of the 24 lecture outreach events to raise awareness of the project. And then 2.69 acres have been enhanced through planting and invasive removal. So this is going to be the closeout of this grant. Actually, this one ends in June. The Greens grant is the one that will continue on till December. We have IMLS 6, which is run by Ocean Program. That grant is to develop a shared database where environmental observations can be entered and cataloged. So it's kind of part of the cultural plan to doing observations. You can do it in a database format on your phone and enter in these observations, and they can be cataloged, and then people can utilize them afterwards. We have the data, KIRC data collection will be done via aerial, and it also provides for aerial surveys for the project. That's the last part of the funding. So this also will be completed. The only thing left in this project is that the staff will be going to ATAM, the Association of Tribal Archives and Libraries and Museum as part of requirement for the grant. And that will be coming up October? Yeah. In October, yeah. So in the recent period, they've done 3 area surveys. In early April, notified that the funding for this has been, we were first notified in April that funding was suspended. In late May, we were notified that all funding for this project was reinstated and then rescheduled and planning has resumed. So we also made a request to invoice and collect the funding. So we have collected all the funding and they've funded us. So we got that under our belts. So our last one we have here is the Maui County Green Grants Program. The proposed project was to enhance 2.69 acres of seasonal mixed palustrine, emerald, and scrubs coastal wetland habitats located in Honokanaya, and 1.5 acres of wetland habitats in Honokanai in the Ili of Kealakiki on the southwest end of Kaho'olawe. The overall mission of this project is to restore wetland and stabilize sand dunes on the coastline of Kealakiki by introducing native plants, 8,000 native plants, and removing invasive alien species, and constructing a water flow control device and sediment traps across 1.75 acres of the road. Highlights, they've hired, this also funded the ORS2 for 1 year, plant 8,000 plants and do enhancements. Their project update, over this reported period, they have planted 6,500 native plants in the planting area, 7,500 to date. So they've exceeded their planting. Because of this project, we are also getting additional funding from OCCL because we brought them out to see what we're doing in this coastal restoration. And they like the idea of to see what coastal restoration happens in an area that is not inundated by human population, and to see what unadulterated coastline looks like as a goal for some other areas that OCCL is working at. And they like to have a model. We're one of the few places where there's this model where we can have remote areas and unimpacted by human population. Weed cloth was placed over some of the areas to suffocate the buffalo grass, and then the weeds are removed once they're killed. Road repair were done along the K1 road into Honokanaya to reduce sedimentation runoff into the water. The installation of temperature data loggers was done to track water temperature changes that could impact coral health reef in the project area. And we submitted a financial report to the county for the first quarter of this project, new quarter. And then we also just got awarded an extension, additional funding for this project, and a complementary county grant for Kaho'olawe wetlands. So that'll be the future funding coming up. And that's all I have.
PP Holoka'au, geez.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yes.
On the Palupulu Kanaloa project, is Maui Botanical Garden no longer a partner? They weren't listed in the list that you.
Maui who?
Maui Botanical Garden.
They took themselves out, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, because their plants didn't survive
Yeah.
down there, and it's they're the ones down by the YMCA, right down in town. Yeah, so the conditions there have gotten hotter,
Right.
even way hotter nowadays in town in Maui. So, yeah, I think
Okay.
they're having a hard time. Yeah, just to the cost of maintaining,
Yeah.
and as it get bigger, making the planters, and then providing the screening of the pesticide usage needed.
Well, they had built planters that on rails that
Yeah.
actually could be protected if there are high winds and
Yeah.
tsunami and hurricane.
I think the cost was getting too high
And
for
that
yeah.
was expensive, I'm sure.
Yeah, and they're having. I think their funding is not doing too well yet.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Saito.
Thanks for starting that off, Benton. I also had a question about the Kapalupalo Kanaloa. Great website, by the way. But I just had a question because you mentioned something about the 50 outplanting.
Yes.
Is there a timeline when the group feels that could start?
They're
Yet?
still talking. I know they're still talking about it because part of the outplanting requirements is if you're outplanting in one of those organizations that have the permitting, because this is an endangered species, you do have to get, was it a license, a permit, or
Yeah, they could, and well, they have to have handling permit, then outplanting. I don't know if you had the outplanting permit per se.
yeah. So I know they're working on the paperwork that they need to do. So I'm not sure what their timeline is. You guys still have staff to process that?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, it's a good partnership between Fish and Wildlife and
Yeah.
DOFA.
Yeah, I could have the next time we have staff, the next commission meeting, I'll have them generate a report more on the timelines, and then they can bring it up on the next meeting, what their timeline, because they haven't just, what I've been reading from them, they haven't really come out too much. They're still trying to figure it out. I know there is a request to do a on-island planting, and I talked to Lopaka Iwohi about that. He said they're just still kind of having conversations about that. Because I did see a couple of reports that one of the issues is how do we maintain a regular watering schedule when people are not in Hakuava. So I did see that come up on one of the post-Huakai reports about needing to develop more regular watering for the garden down in Hakuava.
Yeah, I do understand they still need time to assess
Yeah.
their assets. And I see that
Yeah.
the DOFA, the new software mapping, sure they're
Yeah. But I think we're getting closer. We're getting closer to it. Yeah.
mahalo.
Last part is listening.
Oh, we do have item D, the chair. Yeah.
Yeah, any more questions for about the grant project updates? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to almost the last agenda item, D, announcement of PKOs, the Protect Kaho'olawe Ohana's 50-year anniversary of Aloha Aina Kanaloa. As you all know, the Protect Kaho'olawe Ohana works very closely with the Kaho'olawe Island Reserve to steward, to aloha, to revitalize, to ho'ola Kaho'olawe in many different ways. We can't do it without each other. we want to celebrate the accomplishments of this organization and to promote and reflect on the next 50 years to come from what we have learned in the last 50. And so I just wanted to put it on the agenda for discussion because PKO is planning, they're in the planning stages of some events that will be highlighting not just their work, but also this commission and this staff, our work together. So part of it is a challenge to our KIRC staff to think of ways that we can support the telling of this story, the mo'olelo. It's really important, I think, for our public to recognize that we do benefit from the work of our predecessors. And just listening to our project updates, we are doing a lot. And the Ohana similarly gives their status and project reports in the same way. And we don't always bring all the information together into the same space to see just how broad and deep our collective work really is. So this is an opportunity. I know we have some resos that we were in support of. This commission was in support of this past year. We hope to revisit them on a future agenda around the special license plate and some other resolutions for that. So just wanted to put it out there so that we can start thinking about it. But yeah. Any Commissioner Chuck or Commissioner Saito, would you like to add to that announcement in any way?
No, I think you did a good job, Michaela. I kako'o what you're saying as far as just collectively moving forward as we celebrate this huge accomplishment for the island. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Not very many state agencies can boast the success of community engagement on this level. I really do commend the work of both the community and the state agency, right? To collaborate, and that's not an easy feat. DLNR, we know that this is always a very sensitive and difficult space for us to agree on how to do the things. We all care. We all have aloha aina. The methodology, the funding, the control, the planning, there's so many moving parts. And the fact that here we are in this thriving capacity, I think we're not perfect, but there certainly is a lot to learn that we can share with our other programs and agencies. So, Maika ikako. Director, you want to add anything to that?
Yes, thank you. What I like to add is that, also with the 50th anniversary of the occupational landings on the island, and I hope we're not recreating them in January, are we? No.
No reenactment.
If they were, they wouldn't tell you.
But anyway, so also Iola Kanaloa, our strategic plan, was a target for 26. So one of the things we started last year summarizing the activities as they relate to Iola Kanaloa. So I just I'm going to start having staff continue analyzing the programs and projects we've done and how they interface with Iola Kanaloa and try to get metrics on the accomplishment. But I also want to start meeting with Ohana reps to look at the update and revision for Iola Kanaloa next 50. Is it gonna be we keep Iola Kanaloa as it is? Do we do Iola Kanaloa 2076 is the next one, or what ideas we're going to be doing? So hopefully I can start engaging with some of the Ohana leadership and create a working group again, as we did last time, to bring out Iola Kanaloa, to have a document that sometime next year we can have completed, as part of the 2026 50th anniversary celebration, a new strategic plan to go beyond the first 50. So I'll be initiating that once, and then I think I've already talked to some of the Ohana leadership about, we need to move forward on this and bring the team back together again who was participating on it. Maybe I can find some people from DOI that Stanton come back and help lead it again or something.
Mike Cutty, we look forward to the convening of that group. Mike Cutty. Do we have any next meeting or follow-up announcements from staff?
Our next meeting, we're looking at somewhere in November. And we do have the dates for, hopefully we'll be approving the dates for PKO accesses for 2026. Any updates to legislative positions based upon what happens in the budgets, when the budget draft should be coming out in November. And we probably do a budget amendment because we will have a couple more grants that we'll be including into our operating budget. So that's the only thing I can see right now. And hopefully we would convene something with Iola Kanaloa update by then, or at least start a working team together.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Seeing none, one last mahalo ho ya Commissioner Anela Evans and Court Counsel Daniel Morris. Mahalo piha. Mahalo everyone who made time to join us today. And me ka malu o Kanaloa e kau hali I maila maluno kakua pau. Iola kako, iola Kanaloa. Aloha, aloha aina. Kuiho.
Okay, sure. I'll give you all this to sign.
Can I borrow your pen?
Yep, this one right here. You are down here.
I also didn't have the long range scheduling.
What's that?